Christmas. The real story of Thanksgiving is one of providence. It's one of real men, Indian men and Pilgrim men dealing with one another, and it's one of gratitude. Just consider the providence. The Pilgrims, I have 4 ancestors who were on the Mayflower, 3 derelicts and 1 good, godly Pilgrim. So the ratio, not great, but that's okay. They leave England. There was sabotage in Leiden when they left. There was sabotage leaving England. They somehow made it. They're blown off course. They're delayed by many months. They end up 300 miles away from where they should have been in Manhattan, and they're not even in the biggest harbor of Boston Harbor. They're at this random place of Plymouth. They get out. What do they find? Perfectly cleared fields, ready for agriculture, but no people, the whitened bones of people who had died. Out of the woods, who walks out? An Indian by the name of Samoset, who greets them in English and says, "Welcome, Englishmen." They happened to arrive next to the 2 people in the Western Hemisphere who possessed any knowledge of the English language. After that, an Indian named Squanto comes out. He speaks English beautifully because he was taken out of the New World and brought as a slave to Spain. He somehow made it to England. He talks to the Pilgrims about the streets of London. Can you imagine how their minds must have been blown? He arrives back. Coincidentally, while he was in Europe, his entire tribe was wiped out by an epidemic, so he's the last remaining Patuxet. He comes, he negotiates peace between the Indians and the colonists, the Pilgrims, and the other important thing here is these left-wingers who want to decolonize Thanksgiving, they would have you believe that these Indians weren't real men, that they were helpless, that they had nothing to offer, that they were stupid, that they couldn't fight the English. Not at all. These were real serious men, real serious statesmen. And the Pilgrims helped their good friend, Massasoit, the sachem of the Pokanockets, and eventually helped him to establish the much broader Wampanoag Indian nation. The Pilgrims were beneficial to him, and he was beneficial to them. He helped them stave off an attack from the Massachusetts Indians. The Pilgrims saved his life. Edward Winslow saved their good friend's life. This endured for decades until the son of our friend Massasoit unfortunately misinterpreted certain events and destroyed the entire alliance. That story to me is much more interesting. It gives much more dignity to the Indians and to the Pilgrims who were working together in this incredible circumstance. Some would call it providential circumstance. It's something we should all be grateful for. What does the left want to do? They want to replace that true history with ideological bunk, and they want us to hate not only our forefathers, but hate ourselves and our own country.
Right, because of the color of our skin. I mean, I think we should play exactly what you just said, your monologue right there. We should play that for school children across the country, and I would absolutely love to see the look on the faces of these 2 liberal professors that I referenced if they heard the historical context of the first Thanksgiving. Instead, we're told that our children, little kids with their crayons at Thanksgiving dinner, that it's cultural appropriation for them to color Indian, Native American headdresses and to color in the Pilgrims' outfits, the black hats and the knee buckles. That's cultural appropriation because that doesn't accurately represent what happened.
That's right. And look at the wonderful culture that we have. We do have a culture in this country that came out of pilgrims who came here to practice their religion, to worship their God. It seems the simplest explanation is that their God and that divine providence led them to this spot. And we have this wonderful culture that was built out of that. The help that the Indians gave us, the help that we gave them, a moment of thanksgiving.